Today's lesson for the grade 6s is going to look at dividing decimals by whole numbers. So let's review what the base 10 blocks look like. Remember, I am not a fan of this. I've mentioned this in a previous video, but what it wants you to do is use base 10 blocks to help you divide. So first, it wants us just to represent what these look like. So 1 is this. So in this case here, I'm just going to draw it as a big square. And this right here would be the 0.1. And there's 4 of them. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And for B, you have 1 big one and 7 little ones. And for the final one, you have 3 big squares and 1 skinny one. We can use base 10 materials to model division. Step 1, represent 3.6 using base 10 materials. So let's draw the 3. And the 6 sticks. I am drawing this like this on purpose, because I do want you to see what I did. Divided into 3 equal groups. Well, the 3 equal groups are right here. As you can see, I already did that. So each group would have 1.2. This is what this model is trying to get you to learn. So I am not going to use the base 10 materials, but in this case, 4.2 divided by 2 is 2.1. 8.4 divided by 4 would be 2.1. And the final one, 9.3 divided by 3 would be 3.1. Again, these are things you can do on a calculator as well to confirm. This is my preferred way of doing it if I don't have a calculator, is to divide it the way, this is how I was taught back in my days as a student. So I'm going to go over how you would do this. So the first step, remember, Dracula must suck blood. The first step is you're going to take 2, and you're going to see how many times does 2 fit into 6. And in this case, 2 fits into 6 3 times. Your next step, so there's your division, you have to multiply 3 times 2, which is 6. Now you subtract 6 from 6 is 0. There's your subtraction. And B means bring down. So you bring down the 4. So now you repeat the cycle all over again. 2 goes into 4 2 times. There's your division. 2 times 2 is 4. And if you subtract, so there's a multiplication, subtract 4 minus 4 is 0. There's your subtraction. And bring down the 8. And we go through the cycle one more time. 2 goes into 8 4 times. 4 times 2. So there's your division, there's your multiplication. Subtract it, 0. And there's nothing to bring down. So 2 divided into 648 is equal to 324. So that would look like this. 648 divided by 2 equals 324. Same thing applies when you are doing it with decimals, except the decimal would have been here and the decimal would have been there. So this would be 32.4. To divide a decimal by a whole number, perform the division using the algorithm as if there was no decimal point, then place the decimal point in the correct place in the quotient. That's what I just did. So if we look at this example, so same thing, 2 into 8 goes 4 times. 8 minus 8 is 0. Bring down the 2. 2 goes into 2 one time. 2 times 2, sorry, 1 times 2 is 2. Subtract these 2. 2 minus 2 is 0. Bring down the 4. 2 goes into 4 2 times. 2 times 2 is 4. And you get a 0. So if 824 divided by 2 is 412, what we would do is just put the decimal here for 82.4, and the decimal goes right above it. Your answer would be 41.2. So divide by using the algorithm. So let's do the algorithm. So we would rewrite it like this, 3 into 63.9. So I leave the decimal there, and I just put it right up right away. 3 goes into 6 2 times. 2 times 3 is 6. Subtract 6 minus 6 is 0. Bring down the 3. 3 goes into 3 one time. 1 times 3 is 3. Subtract 3 minus 3 is 0. Bring down the 9. 3 goes into 9 3 times. And there you go. Okay, again, if you do this on a calculator, you will get the same answer. So back to the algorithm, 42.8. Put the decimal right above it right away. 2 goes into 4 2 times. 2 times 2 is 4. 4 minus 4 is 0. Bring down the 2. 2 goes into 2 one time. 1 times 2 is 2. 2 minus 2 is 0. Bring down the 8. 2 goes into 8 4 times. 4 times 2 is 8. Subtract 0. There's your answer. Okay, 2 more to go here. Rewrite it like this. 2, remember, put the decimal right away, right above it. 2 goes into 5 2 times, because 2 times 2 is 4. It's not 3, because then you'll have a 6, and you cannot do the subtraction. 5 minus 4 is 1. Bring down the 2. So now we have 2 going into 12. So there's a number right there, 12. 2 times what is 12? That would be 6. 2 times 6, 12. Subtract 0. Bring down the 6. 2 goes into 6 3 times. And we have our 0. And the final question, I'm going to write it over here. 3 into 42.3. Put the decimal right away, right above it. 3 goes into 4 one time. 1 times 3 is 3. 4 minus 3 is 1. Bring down the 2, so we have 12. 3 times what is 12? That would be 4. 4 times 3 is 12, like we just said. Subtract 0. Bring down the 3. 3 goes into 3 one time. I know I'm doing this quickly, but there are other videos on how to subtract or how to divide these numbers. And I know because I've uploaded them on my page. Alex earned $77.50 for 5 hours mowing lawns. How much does Alex earn in 1 hour? So this is another division question. 5 goes into 77.50. So put the decimal right away. 5 goes into the first 7 one time. 5 times 1 is 5. Bring down the 7. So 5 goes into 27 evenly 5 times. 5 times 5 is 25. We have a 2 here. Bring down the 5. 5 times 5 is 25. 0. Bring down the 0. And you cannot divide into 0, so you put a 0. And that's how you would do that question. For B, Alice bikes 4.8 kilometers in 8 minutes. How far does Alice bike in 1 minute? Same thing. 8 into 4.8. Put the decimal top. So 8 goes into 4 0 times. So we put a 0. And now we have to look at 8 going into 48. 8 goes into 48 6 times. 6 times 8 is 48, 0. So that means Alex bikes 0.6 kilometers per minute. Okay, more slides to go. A stack of 6 toonies has a height of 10.5 millimeters. What is the thickness of a toonie? So for the toonies, we would do 6 into 10.5. 6 goes into 10 one time. 1 times 6 is 6. 10 minus 6 is 4. Bring down the 5. So 6 goes into 45 evenly 7 times. So 42. Now we have a 3. But now we're not done because there is a remainder here. We cannot have this remainder here right now. So here's the trick. You need to bring down a 0. So we have to add a 0 to the end and bring it down. 6 goes into 30 5 times. And that makes it 0. So each loonie is 1.75 millimeters thick. Second last slide. Ava earns $97.20 for 6 hours of part-time work. So per hour, let's bring this down here, 6 into 97.20. Put the decimal, 6 goes into 9 one time. Bring down the 7, 6 times 6 is 36. Bring down the 2, 6 goes into 12 two times, 12, 0, bring down the 0, and you get a 0. So she makes $16.20 per hour. When Ava works on a holiday, she gets paid extra. She is paid 2 times as much per hour. So 16, how much does she make per hour? Times 2 gives you a total of $32.40 per hour. How much does Ava earn for 8 hours of work on a holiday? So for each hour, it's $32.40. Multiply that by 8. You get 259.20. Good for Ava. Final slide here. We're almost done. A website about fuel economy says that a particular car model will drive 14.7 kilometers per liter of gas. The Benitez family drove that same model of car for 114.4 kilometers using 8 liters. Did they do better? Well, let's see. You usually don't do better, but just based on my experience, 8 into 1 does not go. So now we have to do 8 into 11. Put the decimal there. 8 into 11 goes one time. 11 minus 8 is 3. Bring down the 4. 5 won't do. 4 will do. 32. Bring down the 4. 14.3. So they drove 14.3 kilometers. They did not. No, they did worse. Worse. How much farther would the Benitez family travel on 8 liters if their car drove as far as the website said so? So, well, 1 liter equals 14.7 kilometers. 8 liters, you would just simply multiply these two. So it would be 14.7 times 8. And I'm just going to grab my calculator and do that really quick. Times 8 equals 117.6 kilometers. That's how far they should have driven. I know I went through this fast. There are other videos that can show you how to divide. Rewatch this if you have to. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.